Hello, this is Gary Elgin and welcome to the Lavender Table here at 11 Cafe at 122 South Gay Street. Amy Broyles, welcome to the Lavender Table.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks for inviting me. It's great to be here and lovely to be spending time with you again.
Well, it has been a while. Let's see, it's last year and you were atop of our float.
That's right, I was. I was just looking at pictures of that actually earlier today.
Yes. Amy and I have known each other for approximately 20 years, nearly 20 years. Amy, how do you believe Knoxville has changed over that period of time?
Well, I came to Knoxville in the fall of 1985, which was a few years before you got here, I believe, and to go to UT. And I remember there being a gay and lesbian student union on campus. And the ways that Knoxville has changed since then and now is, to me, it's been tremendous. The access to information on gay and lesbian issues, events, venues, it's just remarkable. It's so much more open and accessible, and it's not, there's less feeling of people hiding away.
Well, yes, because back in the day, you and I lived in a Knoxville where there was no holding hands on the street. There was acting straight in a work environment. There was just a lot of hidden lives going on.
And I was really fortunate because my French teacher, my freshman year, was gay, and excellent teacher, and so he was able to, I was able to ask him questions about different things about the gay scene and the gay culture in Knoxville. And I also worked at Planned Parenthood for a couple of years and worked there with Corinne Ravetti.
Oh, yes.
And Beth Maples Bays and some other women who are very involved in the lesbian culture here. So that helped me know more about where to go, who to meet, things to do. But for someone who didn't have those connections, I think it would be much, much harder then to find a community that you were comfortable in.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Amy and I met while we were both working at a New Age bookstore, or a metaphysical bookstore, gift store, named Crystal Wonders, later renamed Zephyr's
Books, music, and gifts
for the spirit. Yes, Zephyr High. How did you get led to politics?
Well, it was not something that I chose. I think it kind of chose me because, after I had left Zephyr's, I had been in social services for about 10 years and was quite burned out. And so when I left Zephyr's, I gave away most of my stuff, put the things I wanted to keep in storage, put my 2 dogs in my car, and spent about 3 years driving around the United States. And various places, met lots of people, was looking for a place where I wanted to be. And right before I left, the very week before I left Knoxville, I met a man that I immediately thought, this guy is just really incredible, and we became really close friends. And he would sometimes come out and travel with me, and whenever I had a chance, I'd come back to Knoxville. And I decided after 3 years that I was actually in love with him and wanted to be back in Knoxville.
Wonderful.
So I moved back home and got married, and now I'm here and happy, and I have 2 kids and a wonderful stepdaughter. And it's funny how life moves you, because I went out on this 3-year tour of the United States to find out where I was supposed to be, and turned out I was supposed to be here all along. So,
yes.
And then I was involved, I've been, as you know, from the time since you and I met, I've always been involved in political causes and issues. I did a lot of trips to Washington, D.C. for marches and lobbying and things like that over the years. And didn't have as much time for it, I discovered, with babies to take care of and a home to take care of. But I was still very interested in national issues, not so much so in the local political scene. until I decided to get involved in the Gore Lieberman campaign, and worked really, really hard on that campaign. Put together thousands of yard signs, knocked on doors, made phone calls, and it was the first time I'd been involved with the group locally working on something. And of course, you know, election night happened, and
Right.
Did he win, did he not win? So for about 2 weeks after that, I was laying on the couch just boo-hooing, and you know, I was nauseated and my head hurt, and I remember telling Jamie that, you know, I'm never doing anything political again, ever, because obviously I can't handle this.
It
Obviously,
takes a
I
lot
can't
out
do
of
it.
you.
Well, what we discovered was that I was pregnant, and so it wasn't political disappointment, it was morning sickness. So once we got through that, I decided I would jump back into politics again. So,
Oh, wow.
But I had people who kept asking me, well, you know, you did great on this campaign, or thanks for working on that issue. Why aren't you running for office? And I kept saying, oh, and this is what women do. They say, I'm not prepared. I'm not ready. I can't do that. And finally, and this is also what happens with women, I got really good and pissed off about something.
Yes.
And decided, by golly, if nobody else is going to fix this, I am. And that's what usually happens.
I'd like to talk to you more about that when we come back here on the Lavender Table with Gary Elgin and Amy Broyles. Hello and welcome back to the Lavender Table. I'm your host, Gary Elgin. We're here at 11 Cafe on Gay Street in downtown Knoxville with Knox County Commissioner Amy Broyles. Amy, welcome back.
Thank you.
I asked you before about how you got into politics. Now's the big question. Madeline Rogero is our mayor. Democratic, woman, pro-equality. Will you be our next one?
Me.
Yes.
Well, Madeline is just not even through her first year of her first term, so I'm looking forward to Madeline being mayor for a long, long time yet.
Yes, we all are. But here comes the question again. Are you thinking in the future?
Well, what I'm trying to do I have 4 years left on my term as county commissioner. And I'm trying to focus as hard as I can on the job I'm doing now. One of the things I've learned in politics is you don't plan too far in the future, because you really have no idea what's going to happen and how things are going to change. And it's nice to dream and think and all of that. And certainly the more prepared you are for any opportunity that comes up, the better your chances are going to be. But I'm really trying to focus as hard as I can on the job I'm doing now and not think too far ahead of what I might want to do later on. But I won't, there are a lot of people who've already talked to me and asked me about running for mayor of Knoxville. So I'm not going to say, no, I'll never do it, but it's not something that I'm actively planning on right now either.
But it sounds attractive?
Well, I think Madeline's doing a great job, and one of the interesting things is that the seat that I'm in now in County Commission was Madeline's seat when her first step into politics was serving on County Commission representing the 2nd District, and that's where I am now. So there's been a lot of people who have made that comparison for me too. So
Well,
we'll see.
we're very proud of Madeline, and we also hope that she serves a good many years.
I think she's doing a great job.
Only in her first year, and especially for the LGBT community, she has far surpassed any expectations, I think.
And it feels so wonderful, this spirit of inclusiveness.
Yes.
And to feel like everyone is working together, even though everyone may not agree on the details. Everybody is buying into the big picture.
Yes.
And it feels wonderful.
It really
feels
does.
really, really good.
Knoxville feels very good right now.
It sure does.
Yes.
And really, I think we've got one of the best city councils we've had. I think we definitely have one of the best county commissions we've had in a long, long time. The group of guys that I work with on commission are fabulous. Now, we often don't agree on issues, but they are a great group to work with, and I think that we do really good work. And we also have a really terrific school board. So I think Knox County is in a really good place right now politically as far as its legislative bodies go, and we've got Madeline at the helm, for the city. So it's a great time.
It really is. Now with city politics, with county politics, with state politics, Tennessee, Knoxville, very conservative historically, but it's branching out. It's branching out. It's growing. It's maturing. Is that an all right thing to say?
I think so. I think a lot of the people who are so conservative, I think a lot of their concerns are based in fear of change and fear of the unknown, fear of things that are different, and that's normal for most people. But what I've learned, and this is my personal philosophy, and it helps me get through after those meetings where nothing seems to have gone my way and I lose every vote or everything that I think is important, is I remind myself that when you look back at the entire sweep of human history and how far we've come and the things that have changed, we're always moving forward. We're always making progress, and we're always moving in a progressive direction. Slavery is gone. African Americans can vote. Women can vote. Women can hold any office they want to. It's just, once things like marriage equality, once those genies are out of the bottle, you can't completely put them back in yet.
No.
And so there's always, I think, a little bit of a contraction after a period of expansion, just to kind of to balance things out and to deal with the people who are so fearful about moving forward. But things are going to continue to progress. I have no doubt that by the time my children are my age, marriage between gay men or lesbian women will no longer be remarkable. It will be a commonplace thing, and that's a generational thing that happens. Each generation surpasses the generation before it, I think, in terms of openness and progress and moving the human race forward. And that's what gets me through on those nights when I come home feeling kind of battered and bruised from a long night at County Commission.
It can be rough, I'm sure.
I know that in the long run, we're going to make it. We're doing the right thing.
Yeah. You mentioned marriage equality. Recently, there was a protest pro Chick-fil-A and pro LGBT, and